Championship leader Hayden Gullis makes it a hat-trick of pole positions here at the European Grand Prix with teammate and rival Nico Hülkenberg lining up alongside him in second. Lining up on the second row of the grid is Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, who are 1 second behind the pole sitter, showing us just how fast the Force India is around here. It was a good qualifying session for Nico Rosberg and Kimi Raikkonen, who make it into Q3, and after securing a podium finish last time around at the Canadian Grand Prix, Romain Grosjean impresses once again as he gets into Q3. Jenson Button and Kevin Magnussen will be slightly disappointed with their qualifying sessions yesterday as they just miss out on Q3, but they will have a clean strategy to start the race from, so who knows where they'll finish. That rounds up yesterday's qualifying report. Up next is the European Grand Prix. What is up, people, and welcome back to part 71 of my F1 2016 career mode here at the European Grand Prix, the Baku City Circuit for round 8 of Season 4. If you missed Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and the first 7 rounds of Season 4, then you can go catch up with the card annotation in the top right corner of your screens. But last time around at the Canadian Grand Prix, it was not a good race for us. We should have won that race, but unfortunately, a collision with Danny Kvyat meant that we only finished 5th. But it was still some good points on the board, and we still lead the Drivers' Championship at this stage of the season. Max Verstappen lining up right down the back of the field in 21st position, just showing you how much Red Bull are lacking straight line speed. But we qualified in pole position, 1:38.887, a great lap time around this Azerbaijan street circuit, with Danny Kvyat qualifying in 6th position on the grid. So let's run you through the starting grid ahead of today's European Grand Prix. It's myself and Nico Hülkenberg making it a Force India front row lockout, with myself in pole position and Nico Hülkenberg alongside me in second. The rivalry is still very strong between the two of us, so will that continue here today? We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso line up on the second row, 3rd and 4th. Ria Haryanto lining up down in 5th place. Danny Kvyat lines up alongside him in 6th, with Nico Rosberg getting into Q3, finally being able to qualify in that Mercedes car. He lines up in 7th place, with Kimi Raikkonen alongside him in 8th, once again getting into Q3. Romain Grosjean qualifies in the top 10 for the first time in a while in 9th position after getting a podium last time around at the Canadian Grand Prix as well. So we'll be expecting to see something very decent from him once again here today, with Jolyon Palmer alongside him rounding out the top 10. Just missing out on the top 10 was Jenson Button, who qualifies in 11th place, and Kevin Magnussen is alongside him on the 6th row of the grid. Lewis Hamilton qualifies down in 13th, with Esteban Gutierrez in the other Haas down in 14th as well. Decent qualifying session for the Sauber driver of Marcus Ericsson as he starts the race in 15th position. Pascal Wehrlein, though, down in 16th place. Not a good result for him. His teammates up in 5th. And you would expect the manner to be very quick around here, so a bit surprising that Pascal Wehrlein is down in 16th place. Then we have the guys who were knocked out in Q1. Daniel Ricciardo down there in 17th place. So is Sebastian Vettel in 18th. Valtteri Bottas starts the race in 19th on the 10th row. Felipe Nasr alongside him in 20th, with Max Verstappen down in 21st. And Felipe Massa rounds out the grid. So that is your starting lineup ahead of today's European Grand Prix. Let's head down to the track for the race strategy. Looking at the race strategy then ahead of today's race, and we're going to be starting on the soft tyres as we set our best lap time in Q2 to get into Q3 on those soft tyres. So a good bit of strategy there. So that means we only have to make one stop to go onto the mediums till the end of the race. Those mediums should be able to last us till the end of the race. So I think that's a strategy that we will go for. Pit on lap 10 for the medium tyres and hope that it will take us till the end of the race. That's the strategy then for today's race. Let's head to the starting grid for the European Grand Prix. Here we are then on the grid for round 8 of Season 4. The lights coming on now. It's 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the European Grand Prix. It's a great start compared to Nico Hülkenberg. Once again, we just need to make sure we get a brake timing right down in towards turn 1, which we do. And now we hold on to the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Down in towards turn 2 now. Still defending from Nico Hülkenberg, but he is very much on our tail. As there's a little bit of contact down in the background. I think a manor has gone spinning. That would be Pascal Wehrlein, who was way down the back of the field on the starting grid. As we're watching on board with Nico Hülkenberg still down in towards turn 4 now. Turn 3, as he's still very much on my tail. Down towards turn 4 now, and he's still right on my tail. We need to make sure that we defend against my teammate. Otherwise, if we let him through, then he can certainly catch us up in the championship. But let's have a look at a replay of what's happened down towards turn 2. It looks like they try to go 3 wide. The manor drives into the wall. Then it sort of gets squished into each other. I think the Haas drive got sandwiched in the middle, but it was Lewis Hamilton who looked like came worse off going into the barrier and breaking half his front wing. So disappointment there for Lewis Hamilton, who now drops down into 14th place. We are watching on board a replay here, side by side with Kevin Magnussen, but Kevin Magnussen does get through. He goes side by side with the Haas driver, Gutierrez, and then the Manor driver, and yes, he just gets pushed out wide. Wasn't really expected it. You can kind of see the Manor on the left-hand side, so he can see everybody that's going through that corner, but I think it was the Manor driver, yes, Pascal Wehrlein, who drops down into 16th place because of that incident. He was actually ahead of Lewis Hamilton at one point, but moves over to the left-hand side. Nice traction out the corner to go side by side with those guys. Very late on the brakes, but just turns into the wall. If he turned maybe a little bit later, all three of those guys might have made the corner, but unfortunately that's not the case, and he drops down into 16th position. Disappointing there for Pascal Wehrlein. We're once again on board with Lewis Hamilton, who's coming under pressure from the Sauber driver of Marcus Ericsson. If this happened in real life, this would be some dramatic scenes, but unfortunately this is only career mode. But Marcus Ericsson is following right behind Lewis Hamilton down this very, very long straight. So much slipstream, so much straight line speed down in towards this corner side by side. Lewis Hamilton tries to come into the pits. There's a huge crash on the start finish straight. Sebastian Vettel looks like he's got caught up in it as well, involving Marcus Ericsson, Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel. I think Daniel Ricciardo may have got hit as well, and the virtual safety car is straight out because of that huge collision. I believe that Lewis Hamilton has also crashed out because of it. So a huge crash down in towards the start finish straight. Here we are watching on board Lewis Hamilton. Confirmation there that he has crashed out of today's race. Pulls over to the left hand side, makes contact with the Sauber, and then gets absolutely smashed by the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel and must have lost a rear tyre or something. Watching on board with Marcus Ericsson now. He goes down into 16th place, and he's just minding his own business, going for the overtake on Lewis Hamilton, gets taken out by Lewis Hamilton, goes into Daniel Ricciardo, somehow though manages to save the car. He has got half front wing damage on his cars. We're watching on board with Valtteri Bottas, who somehow gets through that unscathed. Doesn't make any contact with any other car. Somehow managed to get through that. Sebastian Vettel was not as lucky as he comes down to the start finish straight now and just goes, has nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere to go. Goes straight into the path of Lewis Hamilton. Unfortunately, he is way down at the back of the field in 21st position as we're watching on lap 5 now. Jolyon Palmer going for the overtake on a Toro Rosso. I believe that was it? Yes, it is. It's Toro Rosso of Danny Kvyat. Looks like there's a Haas driver of Roman Grosjean, I think that is, looking to try and get past both of these guys as well. Down in towards this left-hander. Yes, it is Roman Grosjean following behind Jolyon Palmer and Danny Kvyat. Down in towards turn 3 now. Side by side at the moment between those two. But Roman Grosjean going to the left-hand side. It's 3 wide down in towards turn 3. Danny Kvyat gives up on position, and Roman Grosjean has gained 2 positions in one straight, just showing you how powerful the slipstream. No, he hasn't, not quite yet, as they're still going side by side through turn 4, but I think now he has finally got the position away from Jolyon Palmer. So Jolyon Palmer did gain a position there on Danny Kvyat, but unfortunately lost one at the same time on Roman Grosjean. Roman Grosjean says, thank you very much, I will take that slipstream and the DRS, and I will take that position. As we're watching on board now with Nico Hülkenberg right on my tail here on lap 6. We go in towards the left, then the right of turns 5 and 6. Down in towards turn 7 of the hairpin. Losing the back end quite considerably there, and that's going to allow Nico Hülkenberg to go on the attack up the inside, down in towards the hairpin of turn 7. Side by side. You do not want to go side by side into this section, but are we going to do it side by side with our teammate? Is he going to give up? No, he's not, and we've gone into the barrier. We've damaged our front wing there. Not too sure what's happened to Nico Hülkenberg, but Rio Haryanto is out of today's race. Nico Hülkenberg is into the wall. He's lost his front wing, but still in second place somehow, because nobody else can actually get through, mind you. But here we are looking at a replay of exactly what went on there. So side by side between the two of us, and none of us were giving up. I was not giving up on the inside. He did not give up either. And there was a little bit of contact just before we turned into the corner. Were we stuck on each other's cars? There's Nico Hülkenberg sort of pinned against the wall and against Rio Haryanto. We get a better view now of where we got pinned against each other here on board with Nico Hülkenberg's view. Side by side at the moment down in towards the castle section. So was there contact before? There's a slight amount of contact, but I don't know whether that actually caused us to lock together. I'm not too sure at the moment. We were taking maybe a bit too much speed in towards the castle section. Not too sure whether we would have made it. And there's the contact with Rio Haryanto losing his front wheel. But yeah, I'm not too sure whether we would have made it, as Kevin Magnussen and Valtteri Bottas have both been disqualified from today's race. Not too sure how that's happened, but we're going to get a replay and a good view of exactly how that went on here. As everyone's just got into a traffic jam right now. And the McLaren goes straight into the back of Felipe Massa. Then the Manor goes into the back of him. They're all sideways. They're just reversing and going forward into other drivers. Looks like the Renault and the Williams are just stopped still for the moment. And now they're getting moving, and I think that this was the moment that they got disqualified. Yes, it is. Valtteri Bottas and Kevin Magnussen now out of today's race. But we have to now make a pit stop very early in this race. We were hoping to come in on lap 10, so we're coming in 4 laps earlier than we were supposed to. We could have maybe gone onto the medium tyres and seen how long they would have lasted. But I think the best decision, seen as most drivers are going to be having to come into the pits, because I'm pretty sure every driver on the grid damaged at least a tiny part of their front wing in that huge collision. We might as well go on to a set of soft tyres and then go on to a set of super soft tyres till the end of the race. I think that's going to be a good strategy to go for. And looks like we may come out in the lead of the race side by side with Kimi Räikkönen. I think Kimi Räikkönen's just about going to get us, but Nico Rosberg is going to come out behind us. So we've only lost 1 position despite having to get a front wing change. That just shows us how far ahead and how much of a traffic jam there was behind us. And here we are on the end of lap 7 now. The battle for first position, pulling over to the right hand side, getting the inside line into the little kink, down towards the start finish straight before we've even got DRS, mind you. And there we are, moving up into the lead of the race. Looks like Nico Rosberg has also overtaken Kimi Räikkönen as well. So that just shows you how powerful DRS is down that straight. Kimi Räikkönen goes from first all the way down to 3rd position because of DRS. A disappointment there for the Ferrari driver, but now watching on board with Nico Hülkenberg trying to make his way back through the field now as he's following behind the Red Bull of, I believe that is Daniel Ricciardo at the moment. I'm not too sure, but it looks like the Saubers are going to battle as well. Daniel Ricciardo pulls over to the left hand side. There's not really anywhere to go at the moment for Nico Hülkenberg, but he's going to have a little look up the inside, down in towards turn 1. He's got the overtake already on the Red Bull, and I think on the Sauber as well. Turns in, gets the inside line. Yes, he has got the position on the Sauber and comes out just behind the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen, who was having that battle with me earlier. He's also right behind the Sauber driver of Marcus Ericsson. It looks like he's got past Kimi Räikkönen somewhere on the lap. Not too sure where that has happened, but somewhere he has got past Kimi Räikkönen. So well done there to Nico Hülkenberg. He's following right behind the Sauber now of Marcus Ericsson down in towards the start finish straight. He's going to get slipstream, he's going to get DRS, and it looks like it once again is going to be an easy move for Nico Hülkenberg. And yes, it is. There is the Sauber driver of Marcus Ericsson in Nico Hülkenberg's mirrors, and that is exactly where he wants him to be, down in towards turn 1, and he moves up into another position. Well done for Nico Hülkenberg, making his way through the field despite the contact made between the two of us at the castle section. Still not too sure what to make of it, as it looks like Nico Hülkenberg has now just come into the pits, watching 2 Ferraris and a Renault do battle here at the European Grand Prix. Looks like Sebastian Vettel is looking to try and get past his teammate of Kimi Räikkönen. He's just been overtaken by Jolyon Palmer down the start finish straight. Once again, Sebastian Vettel has DRS on his teammate up the inside, down in towards turn 3. Side by side between the two of them. Kimi Räikkönen holding it around the outside, but they have the inside line in towards turn 4, but unfortunately just doesn't get a good enough purchase on the exit of the corner, and that allows Sebastian Vettel to move up past his teammate. As once again we're watching on board with our teammate of Nico Hülkenberg making his way, making a carving through the field at the moment, right behind the Ferrari driver of Kimi Räikkönen. Sebastian Vettel, I think, has got past his teammate, not his teammate, Jolyon Palmer, but it looks like Nico Hülkenberg pulls over to the left-hand side, goes for the overtake on Kimi Räikkönen. Sebastian Vettel coming into the pits right now, so that's another position gain. And Kimi Räikkönen, Nico Hülkenberg, will he go for the position on Jolyon Palmer? He has a little look up the inside, but can't quite go for the move. He's not quite close enough to Jolyon Palmer to go for the overtake. And now he moves up into another position. So well done to Nico Hülkenberg, as we're on board with myself at the moment. We have such a huge lead at this stage of the race over the rest of the field, and that's not gonna help, as we've locked up down in towards the hairpin very late on the brakes. I maybe could have made the corner, but I just did not want to risk it. If I had gone into the wall, I would have damaged my front wing, had to come into the pits, and would have lost even more time. So I thought the best thing to do was to use that escape road that was there. Unfortunately, we have lost a little bit of time there to Nico Rosberg, but we do still have a massive lead over the rest of the field, as we're watching once again on board with Nico Hülkenberg, following in the slipstream of Jolyon Palmer. Which way will he go this time? To the left-hand side on the Renault driver. Is he going to get position? Is that Renault quick enough in a straight line? No, it's not. It's not quick enough to keep up with my teammates. And going down in towards turn 1, Nico Hülkenberg takes that position once again and moves himself up into 3rd place in this race. So he's doing such a good job, especially after that crash, and we are coming into the pits here on lap 18. Oh, very late on the brakes there. Going into the wall just a little bit, just kissing the wall with our rear tyre. No punches or anything. Not like it would have mattered at all, seeing as we were coming into the pits for a new set of super soft tyres that only have to last us 7 laps in this race, and they should be able to do that very easy. We've dropped down into second place as Nico Rosberg has got past us. Is that the furthest that we're going to drop down? Nico Hulkenberg, the other Nico, right behind us now, going down in towards turn 2. We just about turn in front of our teammate, just about hold on to position out of the pits. We are on fresher tyres, but we need them to warm up. We're going to take the defensive inside line down in towards turn 3 now. Side by side with Nico Hulkenberg. He's going to go round the outside down in towards turn 3. Side by side between the two of us. So much better under braking because he's got warmer tyres at the moment. Still side by side through turn 4. And it looks like Nico Hulkenberg for now has got position over us, but we will be looking to overtake him later on in the lap. We will be very quick down the back straight, so that is where we're looking to try and get past Nico Hulkenberg, right behind my teammate at the moment. And here we go down in towards the hairpin of turn 7, still very much behind Nico Hulkenberg, down in towards the castle section. We have the McLaren of Jenson Button, I believe that is, right on our tail as well. I think it is. Then there's a Renault of Jolyon Palmer behind us as well. So there's four of us going for this battle for second place at the moment. We are currently in a net lead of the race because I believe the other guys still have to make a pit stop, but we're right behind Nico Hulkenberg, pulling over to the right hand side. He squeezes us as much as he possibly can, so close against the wall, so close against Nico Hulkenberg, but that does not matter as we have retaken second place in this European Grand Prix, which should be the lead once Nico Rosberg has come into the pits, unless he is trying to go to the end of the race. If he is, it would be very nice to see us try and catch up to him as we're watching again on board with Nico Hulkenberg down this very, very long straight down and towards turn 3. He's following in the slipstream. He will have the DRS right on our tail now down in towards turn 3. But is he quick enough to go for the move? He has a slight little look up the inside, but doesn't actually go for the overtake and has to settle for P3 for the time being. But there's still a long way left to go. 6 laps in this European Grand Prix left to go. And that's 6 opportunities to get past us, especially down that back straight, especially down the start-finish straight where you've got the DRS so quick down there. So Nico Hulkenberg will have opportunities to get past us, and we're just going to be waiting to see that battle continue for over the next 6 laps, whilst we also try and catch up to Nico Rosberg. So we go down in towards the castle section now, and we make contact with the wall. We've damaged our right rear tyre. We've got a puncture on the right rear. That has absolutely ruined our race. We were in such a good position earlier on, leading the race by a good 10 seconds over Nico Rosberg, and now look at us dropping positions, going down to the back of the field after getting a puncture. So disappointing. Yellow flag still out because we are driving so slowly down the start finish lane. Here we are making our 3rd pit stop in today's race, dropping down to 14th place at the moment. There's only 18 runners left in today's race because of the crashes and the incidents that have happened so far. And here we are coming into the pits for our final, hopefully our final pit stop of the race, going on to a set of super soft tyres once again, which will take us till the end, definitely this time around. We've literally just got to put in qualifying laps now to try and catch up to the rest of the field. We're so far down in 18th position. It's a 7.7 stop, so it's not too bad. It wasn't too slow. You know, usually for front wing, you usually get to them around 8 or 9. So 7.7 is not too slow at all, but we have still got a lot to do to try and catch up to the rest of the field. We're watching on board with Carlos Sainz trying to catch up to Sebastian Vettel right now. And he's right on his tail, looking at how fast the slipstream and how OP the slipstream is down that straight, as Sebastian Vettel now has to tuck right behind Carlos Sainz to try and hold on for as much as he possibly can, for as long as he possibly can, right behind the Toro Rosso driver. If he can stay behind him, then he will have a chance. And here we are, 1 lap later. Like I was going to say, if he can stay behind him, he will have a good chance to get that position back. And here we are, down in towards turn 1. Sebastian Vettel against Carlos Sainz, down in towards turn 1, down the start-finish straight, using the slipstream, using the DRS. And it looks like Sebastian Vettel has got position. Look how much quicker he is compared to Carlos Sainz, down in towards turn 1, and he takes that position away from the Toro Rosso driver once again. This is a nice little battle going on, but Carlos Sainz needs to get past him as soon as he possibly can in order to get as many points over us as he can in the championship, because as it stands, it doesn't look like we're going to be scoring any points at all. And it looks like both him and Nico Hulkenberg are going to be gaining a huge amount of points. As it looks like Nico Rosberg didn't actually come into the pits, but looking at how fast Nico Hulkenberg is at the moment on track, he is caught up to the back of Nico Rosberg on the final lap, well, the second to last lap in this race, right on the back of the Mercedes driver. Pulls over to left-hand side using the DRS down in towards turn 1. It's side by side at the moment, but Nico Rosberg has to give up on that position, and unfortunately it doesn't look like he's going to win today's race. He has to settle for second place for the time being, but second place for Nico Rosberg is still a huge result in Season 4 of this career mode. Mercedes are not a team to get podiums. To get one here today will be a huge result for those guys down at the Brackley. But here we are still watching on board with the Mercedes driver trying to catch up to Nico Hulkenberg. Can't do anything at the moment here on the final lap of the race. We're watching on board with myself once again, coming round the final proper corner in this race, down in towards the left, then the right chicane. Now the very quick chicane, we can see two drivers just up ahead of us. We're still down in 18th position, and it looks like there's a Haas of, I think that's Esteban Gutierrez, and then you've got the Sauber of Felipe Nasr going side by side. Yes, it is down in towards turn 1. Look at the slipstream. Look how quick we are. Down in towards turn 1. 241 miles an hour. We lock up down towards turn 1. Looks like we have got position. No, there's contact with Esteban Gutierrez. He turns into us on the exit of the corner, and unfortunately this race just goes from bad to worse. There are bottles everywhere. We were in such a good position halfway through this race, leading by such a huge margin, and it was just such a good race for us. And look how much it's turned. It's literally just flipped upside down. We're down in last position now with another puncher in this race, but that's not going to worry our teammate of Nico Hulkenberg, our closest rival on the grid so far this season. He's going to come down towards the start-finish line to take the checkered flag. It's been a great race for him. He had that contact with myself, but Nico Hulkenberg wins the European Grand Prix here in Baku. A great result for him. He's right down the back of the field after that contact with myself at the castle section. Somehow, this Force India is just so quick around this circuit, but somehow he has managed to make his way back through the field and take the lead of the race from Nico Rosberg and win it here today. Nico Rosberg finishing in second place. A great result there for the Mercedes driver. He'll definitely be very happy with that. Here's a replay, though, of what's happened between myself and Esteban Gutierrez. We go very, very, very wide, and there we go. Esteban Gutierrez going to the exit of the corner where we were, pushing us in the rear and actually sending our car into a spin and into the barrier, getting a puncture on the rear right, and losing our front wing completely. So that is really, really disappointing. Really, really disappointing end to this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're going through the castle section at the moment with that rear right puncher, just trying to finish this race. We could have crashed out, we could have just retired, but we want to finish it. We want to finish this race. There's only one lap left to go, so we might as well do that. But the yellow flags are still out at the moment because we have got a puncher. We might actually be overtaken by the guys doing the celebratory parade lap, and I think I can hear Nico Hulkenberg. Yes, there is Nico Hulkenberg right behind us, and he goes into the back of us and puts us into the wall. Here's a replay of exactly what's happened there. There's the contact with Nico Hulkenberg. We're out of today's race, and that is a great way to finish today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You can tell then that there's a lot of anger at the moment between myself and Nico Hulkenberg. Even though I was right at the back of the grid and Nico Hulkenberg had won the race, he still felt inside himself that he wanted to take us out. So you can just see that the rivalry is really heating up between the two of us at the moment. I think it's very close in the championship after today's results. But let's go through the final race standings from today's European Grand Prix. It's Nico Hulkenberg who wins today's race, collects the 25 points over us. Disappointing for us. We would have preferred him to finish a little bit further down the field, but Nico Rosberg, great result for the Mercedes driver, finishing on the podium here today. Was not expecting that at all. Jenson Button finishes in third, getting on the podium as well. Good result there for the McLaren driver. Julian Palmer finishing in fourth, with Max Verstappen starting in 21st on the grid, finishes fifth. A great result there for the Red Bull driver. Kimi Raikkonen finishes in sixth, with Sebastian Vettel seventh, Carlos Sainz eighth, Daniel Ricciardo in ninth, and Fernando Alonso rounds out the top 10 and gets the final championship point here today. Danny Kvyat's bad luck continues as he fails to score a point here today, and Romain Grosjean, despite getting the podium last time around at the Canadian Grand Prix and qualifying in the top 10, could only finish in P12. Looking further down the field then, and there we are down in 18th place with that DNF, not being able to finish the race. Despite doing 26 laps of this race, we have to settle for an 18th and a DNF, which is really, really disappointing. Rio Haryanto was the other DNF of today's race, as well as Lewis Hamilton, in fact, who actually crashed out on the first lap. Didn't even get to finish one single lap of today's race. Valtteri Bottas and Kevin Magnussen, very weird disqualification for those two guys. For some reason, just stopped on the track in that big old pile up down at the castle section, and for some reason getting disqualified because of that. In the Drivers' Championship, it is all to play for at the moment after 8 rounds of this season. First to third is separated by 5 points, with Nico Hülkenberg second, 3 points behind us, and Carlos Sainz 5 points behind us in third. Fernando Alonso as well, if he can have a good string of races, could definitely get involved in the championship battle. He is only 31 points behind us as well. There's been no consistency this season, with the likes of us finishing outside the points in Russia, Spain, and now Azerbaijan. So anything can happen in this season, and I hope it doesn't. I hope that we can start to get some race wins, start to get some solid points to get away from the likes of Nico Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz. So hopefully that can happen, but we'll just have to wait and see how the season progresses. Finally, taking a look at the constructors' standings, and Nico Hülkenberg did a good job for Force India here today, getting that race win. That puts us a bit further away from Toro Rosso at the moment. 66 points separate the two teams right now. We are still the fastest team in Formula 1 at this stage of the season. So it doesn't look like Toro Rosso are really going to have the chance to catch up to us. But like I've said before, anything can happen. The likes of McLarens, the Ferraris, the Mercedes, the Red Bulls, if those guys do some decent upgrades, then they could possibly challenge us halfway through the season. That is it though for today's European Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash that like button, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so for more of this F1 2016 career mode, the 2 laps down championship challenge, and of course other Formula 1 related content on here as well. But I will see you next time around at the Austrian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.